And here we are, live, coming to you live from this small area in the middle of nowhere, where I plan to take over the world by making boxes and lamps, and taking as long as possible. Hello and welcome to my stream. uh, Thank you all for coming. Whoever you are when you view this later, or hi Sasami-chan, thank you for viewing this now. Um, As usual, I'll be continuing my work and progress on the Kingdom Hearts Crusaders Clubhouse. I'm building it in Blender. Current version. Let's see. Where do I find the current version? I always forget. Because I always look like in the help area, because that's usually where the about dialogue box is. So that's where you can find that. Let's see here. I also remember it being into preferences somewhere at some point. TDD. Da, da, da. Okay. Da, da, da. I can't currently find it. I believe it's 2.98 or something like that. Maybe it's system. Nope, that writes a text file. Oh well, it's on the splash screen somewhere. So, like I said, I'm working on this 3D model in Blender of the Kingdom Hearts Crusaders Clubhouse. I'm working on making. I'm working on making it as show accurate as possible, or show accurate as I feel like going. There's a couple of things I'm going to be like working on. Today, yesterday I actually finished working on the rope. I'm going to make some tweaks to some elements in this scene. Like, I noticed that the circle rings are a little bit larger than I currently have them, so I'm going to make the rings a little bit larger. I'm also going to be altering this roof texture right here to extend it out back all the way back to the back wall. Um, so there's that. And I'm probably going to clean up the texture a little bit because I originally did that texture in Inkscape, and I'm now using Affinity Designer for my texture work, as opposed to Inkscape, which is a pure SVG vector program. And Affinity Designer is a vector program that's kind of doing its own thing, and it's got a lot of great features in it. It's also got this like wonderful, history feature, branching history. So if you make a mistake by hitting undo to check out something, and then you accidentally make a mark, you don't lose your undo progress, as it were. So you can actually just change which branch of the undo tree you go down, so you can recover the steps you accidentally oopsed. Um, though I do wish it had a much better autosave feature. Um, Other than that, that's just me getting into the technicalities of the program. Uh, so yeah, I'm probably gonna be working on that today and making the rings that you can actually you can kind of see it right now. So I just need to make all of these a little bit larger. So I'm gonna hook on all of them here. Let's see. I believe it's, let's see, individual origins. That's what we want. So now we can scale these up. So actually I need a better angle on this one. So I'm actually going to select this one and do this, cursor to selected, then view, align, view, center. There we go. And now we're going to scale, oops. Zoom out again. Rotate, actually. Start with that back one. Oop. Sometimes it's hard to select multiple things, really. Okay, there we go. And now I can scale these up. There we go. That's more along the lines of how they look. And I think we actually want to squish them slightly. So I'm going to hit scale and then like that. Okay. Okay. It looks like our texture color is already close to that, so I'm going to try changing it to... there we go. Actually, I like that. It's a little bit more brown gray, so it's closer to a metallic silver than the green I originally had it. Okay. So there we go. And that really does look like a braided rope. At least a tuned version of it, so that's nice. Okay. Yeah, I think that came out really well. Okay. So there's that. Now, gonna save that and let's open up Affinity Designer. Another nice thing about Affinity Designer is it actually understands SVG files, though it doesn't really save them out really well. Also, it can't negatively natively it can't natively work on SVG files, so you can't like edit an SVG file and then hit save. It will always, if you do that, it will save it out as its proprietary format. So that's like some of the things I don't like. So let's see here. Now we're looking for the roof. Which one of these is the roof file? Okay, it's literally called ceiling. Okay, now I just need to find the SVG file called ceiling. There it is. And I was going to say, this may come in broken, but it did not. Okay, cool. Oh, I even have a reference image for what it looks like built into the file. Okay, view. Okay. Now, which one of these shows that outside area? And if you hear any if every once in a while you hear any kind of like white noise, I do have the ceiling fan on right now, but the AI noise filtering program seems to be handling it pretty well, so that's cool. Okay. DDD. That's the one I was looking for. There we go. Okay, so I just need to add more of these lines to so let's go back to Blender. Okay. Looks like we also need to add... Ah, cool, I got more of these dots. So... looks like we actually need to edit some stuff here. Do that. Okay. That. Nothing's up, just working on some texture work, improving some stuff. I tweaked some stuff that had to deal with the lamp. Okay, DD, right now I'm working on this. Okay, let's see here. You know, I think it might be better just to delete that. Let's see, align. Use this and that. Okay. Apply. Yes, bring this one up to about here. Okay, and it looks like I need to bring this over. Oop. That seems about right. It's a little lopsided, but that's okay. Okay, so now we can grab this one. Copy. Actually, I think shift is that. Nope. Is it control that I want to do? Yep. Okay. Now, let's see. How do I want to handle this? Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Okay. Also, another fine intro, Sasami-chan. Okay. Go back over to Blender. Yeah, I think I'm gonna actually go back into here. Go to my references. Okay. Okay. Just looking at my reference textures here, trying to compare everything up. Okay, so this is this. Yep, well, those compare up. Okay. And that kind of compares with this area, but I added a swirl thing in here. Ah. Okay, let's see. Mm, pardon me. Okay, I'm gonna actually pop back over to Blender here. And why don't we temporarily hide this back wall here? And let's change this to wireframe, top down. Okay, I'll leave this. Yeah, that just changes the. Okay, let's bounding box. Change that around. Okay. Let's find the ladder. Okay. I just thought of a interesting concept that I wonder if anyone's ever thought of. Um, 3D masking, as in like how you use a mask inside of a 2D art program to mask out part of a image and make it transparent or make it disappear. Because I can understand turning on and off objects, that helps, but what if you just want to temporarily mask out part of a 3D object? Like the object doesn't actually appear in a particular point of view, so you can mask it out from that angle. Like, for instance, right now, in this view in the show, you actually don't see this lamp. So what if I put a box around that? Let's just do a quick demonstration. Um, let's see here. I'm trying to remember key combinations, I believe. Where are you? I suddenly can't find the control panel for my nice little tool I have on the side here. Just gotta find it in the start menu. Nice thing is that's pretty easy for me to do because I can remember the name of this tool. But that's it's always fun when I'm trying to find something and I can't remember the name of it. So I'm like, oh, what's the name? Okay, there we go. I had a feeling it was A, so let's go back here. Let's say I just add that was an accident. Let's say I add a cube and I set this cube as a 3D mask. So anything inside this cube cannot be viewed um, from a certain angle. So I could actually just grab this cube and put it right here. And so now anything, like if I was designing this mask thing, um, I would make it so anything inside this cube will now no longer be visible from this particular side. I could even make it not visible from any angle, but there would be options to say, oh, I want to only be viewable from from these coordinates. Um, cool. Hop in and out anytime you want, Sasami-chan. Um, so yeah, it would be neat if I could like say this object is a 3D mask. It will block this object's visibility from these angles, which I'm pretty sure is possible. I can do something like that right now, I believe, with Boolean operations. Um, let's see. Like I could go to here and go add modifier Boolean. Grab this and actually move it off to the side here and say that. And so something is happening. So I'm seeing some. Oh, I think the cube's actually inside of the object is what's going on. So right now, yeah, it's actually extending out into the object. So if I go to difference, um, what's actually going on right now is if I go to wireframe mode, yeah, see, it's creating a dent in the cube. So I could do something like that, and that would create kind of the effect after playing around with it a little bit. So I'm just gonna like get rid of that for now because I don't really need it. But yeah, that just hit me. It's like, oh, you could do something like that. Okay, put this back to material view. Okay. What does this look like rendered out of curiosity? Okay, that gives me a clearer image of what I'm looking for here. So that's what that looks like. DDD. Okay, let's see here. Grab this and these two, and that's actually really neat looking at that, doing this. Wow, that actually feels really neat when I do that. If I did this back and forth real quick, one, it might cause motion sickness, but it would also create like a 3D effect, so that's kind of cool. So I'm just going to do that. Okay. And why don't we actually grab this and bring it more inside? DD. There we go. Let's put that to right there. And just see what this looks like. Okay. So it's kind of like I'm right behind the podium. That's neat. I'm mostly doing this to play around to see. Okay. Let's scoot this over a little bit more here. Okay. Okay. Now, okay. It's about that much of the roof. Let's. Mm, excuse me. Ah. Okay. Okay. So what I'm actually gonna do here is let's grab a cube, not a cube, a rectangle, and grab this and make it a um, there we go. Make it a mask, so I can do this and just mask up everything except for the part I want. Then zoom it out. Okay. There we go. Oh, there we go. Well, oops. Good thing there's undo. So I just go back. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now I can move this over, make it bigger. Okay. A thing arrived in the mail, and I thought I would just help move it. Now I'm being asked to assemble it. Ah! I can see that. I'm usually asked to help assemble things unless they're things that need to be precisely assembled in a certain way that a certain set of instructions apparently doesn't tell you. Then I run into problems. Give me good instructions, and I can do it for you. If I don't have good instructions, I'm usually kind of winging it. And because of how I grew up, winging it usually involves duct tape. And that's not the prettiest thing to look at when you're building something that everyone's going to see when they walk into a building. So, yeah. This is why I'm usually in Blender, actually using it as a CAD program to build things and measure everything three or four or five times inside of Blender and then measuring it outside in the world three or four or five times so it compares. Because I was actually in charge of designing sets for local plays, and I built all of them inside of Blender. And before Blender actually had measurement conversions, I actually came up with my own scheme to convert Blender's point system into um uh uh Imperial? No, it's called standard over in it's called standard here in the US, which is stupid because it's not standard. We're like one of the few countries that actually uses um the standard measurements. Everywhere else just uses metric, which makes more sense, easier to divide, count by 10, more accurate because it's also can be broken down into smaller increments, much easier than thirds, fourths, eighths, tenths. Whoop. So yeah, I built a lot of sets in Blender, and they came out really nice. I might show them off sometime. I don't remember being having to sign any papers to not show off any of my work, especially since they were in plays and publicly seen, and there's no trade secrets in the way I built these stages because a lot of them had moving component. A lot of them had moving components. Um, so that was really neat. So if there's time in the stream, I'm if there's time left in the stream, I may actually bring it up. But I want to get this texture done today. So, that's the tool I was looking for. Okay. So let's actually really quick group all of these together. And I'm going to start my own thing above them. Okay, let's make this 20 just to give us something to look at. Go back to colors. Make sure I have the route clicked on, and boom. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. I'm just going to create a couple of these. Okay, so that gives me some lines to work with. Okay, so let's hide some of these and start with this last one. So we have a line that goes straight across. Yep, pretty much straight across. It's a little bit like so. Okay. The next line is here. And it seems pretty much on parallel with that line. So just move it a little bit like that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I have 3 lines. this one. And probably gonna have to squish these further together. So why don't we actually export this and let's see, ceiling. There's the ceiling. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on that, and I'm also going to rename this one. Okay, that's done. Let's go back to Blender. And let's change this over to, let's see, UV editor. Yeah. And change this image out to the ceiling texture. Zoom out on it. And reload. Okay, that's not too bad. But I kind of thought this when I was working on it, but I actually do not need this line because this line here is the third line. Okay, so got that. But what I can actually do is grab this line and turn it into one of these lines here. So looking at this, this line goes right about here. And it's actually opposite of that one, an angle. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually tweak it there and turn this one on. Grab it and this out here. And like that. And then there's one more, which is over here. I'll just push that off the edge there. Stretching. Okay, with that roughed in, let's save as here. Do that. And gonna turn on save history. Yes, I know that people will be. Okay, and then let's export this again. Okay, where are you? Go back to Blender. Reload. Okay, yeah. That's working pretty well. Let's change this one over to our Apple reference image. Excuse me. Okay. I think these all need to be more extreme angles by the looks of it. Almost forgot to Save. Export. Export. Reload. Okay. Yep. Wrong direction. Okay. Yeah. Just looking at something here. Okay. Ah, remembering the shortcut keys I made. Yay! Okay, now export. Let's try that again. Just playing around. Okay. Let's go back into Blender. Reload. Yeah. Those look good. All right. Now, let's buy back to Affinity. And let's see here. Need this. Okay. Why don't we actually group these together? Excuse me. Okay. There. Okay, that's closer. Yeah, that's actually about the position it should be in. Maybe a little bit more here. Okay. Now, we have one that's near the wall that pretty much goes all the way across here. Okay. Go over to the stroke. Click on this. all the way down here, grab this. Okay. Also looks like it's a little wavy, so let's pull on it to make this a little wavy. A little bit more right there. Pull that off to the side. Let actually slightly from the wall. Actually, it looks like it's closer to that, so I'm gonna put that right there. D. Okay. It's actually pretty short. So that's about right here. And let's make this a little bit thinner. Okay, save, export. Go back to Blender. Look through my, there we are. There it is. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, though, it looks like I could actually put this a little closer. And straighten that out just a little bit. Yeah. Okay, now the next set of lines is over here. Whoop. Okay. From there. Okay, so okay, looks like I can actually just pull that down like so. And then we have another one that, whoop, goes across. Okay. Okay, I have an idea. Since I'm actually having to flip it in my head, why don't I just flip it? Okay. And I think I actually need to mirror it. So I know there's a button for that. Yeah. Yeah. This also helps me find a line I did not catch. So let's duplicate that and let's see. Excuse me. Actually undo. Okay. Actually, so let's undo again. Actually, that's, there we go. Because I had it flipped in my head again because I was flipping things around. Because this edge is this edge. Whoopsie. Okay. Okay. So this goes here, goes out here, goes up and over, so I'm going to need a point here. Okay, so tracing the line, it goes most of the way to the edge. Okay. This actually is about the halfway point in that line. Okay, back here and duplicate this one. Hold over here. And that starts right about there. It actually runs parallel to this line. So this is actually like this. Yeah, and that thickness is okay too. Okay. So that does that, that does that. Okay, so we're gonna grab this line and duplicate it. And that right there. This and put it here. Grab this and put it near the wall. Then we grab a new thing and bring it back here. Zoom in. There, it's the one I was looking for. Okay. This is close to the top of this one, and this is actually further away, so it's gonna be right there. And this also tells me it's gonna be over here. Okay. Actually, move this down a little bit. Grab this. Pull this all the way over to here. Okay. Grab this and actually move this down a little bit. Now, you're going to need another one of these. Okay. Okay, let's check in on the chat. Oh, it's starting to rain, and now you have to come back inside. Okay. So, yeah, I'm working on textures here. Okay. And because of all my experience, I'm actually going much quicker, excuse me, than I have done in the past. Okay. So now let's go to this one and duplicate it. And that points to that. There, and go here and here. It's a little bit like that. Yep, and now let's duplicate that one. Put this slightly across here. And that. Okay, since that's a little straight across, that tells me that this part here actually needs to be a little bit lower. Okay, and that needs to be just a little bit lower too. Actually, put that back here. Okay, so now we need another one of these. Okay. That looks pretty good, so let's work on thinning some of these out. Okay. Oop. Okay. It's always so hard to get the lines to look just the way I want them to. Okay, let's look at our reference. Yeah, that's the kind of thing here. Okay, click on this. It's always nice to have something that looks great in the front yard, because the front yard is usually what everyone sees. So, cool. Okay, create 2 of these. Pull it down, grab the corners, pull them down slightly here. There we go. Okay, hit save, and let's export. Okay, let's see what this looks like in Blender. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Let's turn back on the back wall. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's save this. And let's see if I can't find that one file I told you about. So D. Skimming through all the little Blender files I have made over time. Looking for something that looks familiar. Wow, I built a lot of intros for our show, and our show referring to me and Ember's thoughts on series in here back when I was playing around with, okay, what would look neat to play? Is this what I'm looking for? Okay. Apparently, that crashed a version of Blender I was using. Let's try that again and see what happens. Yeah, that just launches and crashes. That's see what happens here. Not quite sure why that launches and crashes, but for now I'm actually just gonna save this and see what happens. I'm gonna close this open window of Blender, and let's try launching this file again without another version of Blender open and see if it's just the file or if it's that version of Blender. Let's try a different file. See what happens. Okay. Apparently it's just that whatever version of Blender I was trying to launch that was having issues with it. Okay. Okay. I keep finding some interesting older models. D. Okay. Not quite sure what this model I just found is. Interesting. D. Oh. Okay, that's an old model. Let's see if this copy opens. Okay. Looks like I found what I was looking for. I'm going to do a quick bit of cleanup on it, and then I'll pop it up on the top screen. Okay. Okay. have a bunch of floating things that I'm not quite sure what I used for. Because they are not rigged up for lights or anything. I wonder if they're like measurement, because I did that a lot in this older file. I had a lot of pieces that I used to measure. Okay, I think that's enough of the cleanup, but I can actually just pop it up here for you as I finish cleaning things up. So yeah, this is a set I built for a play, for a local play. It has a lot of moving parts in it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all these things I'm turning off right now were used to measure uh, objects, location based in reference to something. I even made a spreadsheet that allowed me to automatically convert Blender measurements into real world measurements. Excuse me, because at the time Blender didn't have that kind of built-in conversion. Okay, this one does have a material on it. What did I make it for? It's blue and white. I wonder if I used it as a light. I do have some lights here, and I have a top-down camera to render things out. And I have a front camera. Which camera is set to default? That one. Okay. Okay, let's turn this on to render. Okay. Let's check out the world. World is on. It's set to blue. Let's make the world white. Let's go back here. Turn on nodes for that. Okay. I wonder what this looks like in cycles. It probably doesn't look like anything in cycles. Okay. Let's turn on cycles and see what happens. This may just crash. Ah, it does not. Okay. So, yeah, it had a lot of moving parts because this entire front section here actually rolls off stage. Um, because it just disappears, and along with this, through these side doors here. So these parts of the stage actually open up so you can slide all of this out and hide it off stage to reveal this back area where it's a porch that actually has a balcony. There's a matte painting back here of a city skyline. So yeah, I built all of this in Blender. It's all measured out. Use it to hide the body. Yeah. Okay, that's so yeah, you have all of this back here. You can come in, and I believe this actually had stairs you could walk up on this side. because this is also an exit on the stage, so you can actually walk up that exit to the stage, to that side of the stage, and stuff like that. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to temporarily turn off the world light by making it black. Just as I thought, like, nothing else is really generating light in this scene right now, which is kind of funny. Okay, what's going on with this one? Okay, let's find the other lamps we have. That's interesting. I am not seeing the lamps at all on the item list on the side here. Ah, there we are. Wow, they are pretty strong right now. Huh. Okay. Let's put this to 60, and why don't we put this back to 1 and see what happens. Yep. Okay. So let's also put it to 60. Let's grab this lamp. Looks like it should also be set to 60. Okay. Grab the next lamp. Okay. There we go. And I actually put these lights according to actual lights that were set up on the stage at the time. So I could actually build things and look what the shadows would cast and design aspects of it based around the design they gave me and what was going on the stage. So I could actually make the 3D model look like a really good yeah, a really close match to what the stage actually excuse me, what the stage actually looked like. Ah, yeah. And now I remember this. So yeah, you would actually stack those to make a stairway that leads up to this balcony area. D. Now, where is that setting? Hmm. This might be an older version of Blender 2, because I'm not finding. Will I be? Let's see. Will you be doing this over and over in different times of day? Not quite sure what you mean by that. I decided to show off something I built way back when in Blender. And I just wanted to show off some of the features that it looked like. So I'm not going to actually be working on this. I just need to do some tweaking on it so I could actually show it off without like things being hidden by all settings, because this is an older version of Blender, so it kind of like when you open older stuff when you open older stuff in it, it kind of breaks some of the older files, so you have to do some cleanup just to get them to look reasonable. Oh, yeah, going back to the CMC, I'm actually going to be working on um yeah, I will eventually be working on the lighting in um the CMC clubhouse scene. I may as well save this. Okay, close that out, and I will open it up, back open up the CMC clubhouse, and I will eventually be working on the lighting. And once I get the lighting set up, oh wow, we're 21 minutes past the end of the stream usual time. Well, that's okay. I'm just gonna like bring the CMC clubhouse back up here. Put that back to render. Give it its time to fill in everything. Yeah. So eventually, I will be working on because the lighting right now doesn't actually mirror the show that accurately right now. So once I get the shaders, is what they call it inside of the program, set up to handle multiple lighting situations and look like the show, I will actually be like playing around with it and maybe even like rendering it at different times a day, because all that is changing the color temperature of the lights. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You just change the color temperature of the lights to mirror the color temperature, the cooler tones, and the uh, brightness level of the lights. And then I can, yeah, change the time of day pretty easily. But the big thing is getting the shaders to behave under different lighting situations, similar to how the show shows us how it would behave. So yeah, I can actually do those lighting situations when I'm done. So for now, it's time to wrap up the stream. Actually, it's been time. So I'm going to do the usual log out here, as it were. So thank you for stopping by, Sasami-chan. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for all those who stopped by and comment on this video later. Um, I could. Um, this is going back to Sasami-chan, who just made a comment. I could do stuff like that. I can easily shift any of the objects around. I could even store their locations in certain ways, so I can tap around and get basically I hit a button and it moves them to where I want them to, or I set up scenes and just click on and off those scenes. So yeah, I can do that. So excuse me. So I can do that stuff like that. Well, thank you all for stopping by. Please click like, please subscribe. You don't have to. If you feel up to it, thanks. Watch other videos on this channel like Ember's Reading Room and our Thoughts On series, which is about pop culture and other stuff me and Ember like. And Ember's Reading Room is us reading stories from our childhoods and talking about how we feel about them now, as we say, from an adult perspective. Which is just our perspective and doesn't have to be yours. We like comments that tells us how you felt about the stories. Those are always wonderful and they're fun to read. Okay, let's see. There's links down below where you can find my art. There's links where you can support this channel like Patreon and Coffee. So thank you all for stopping by. Y'all have a nice afternoon. Send him 10 pounds of krill. Krill. As in the stuff that whales eat? Uh, Thank you for your comments, Isami-chan. Ah, you are always wonderful to have around. Thank you all, and have a good time wherever you are. Bye bye!